Hello, this is Sarah and Hannes, and thank you for joining us once again at Antas Solutions every Wednesday and Friday. And today is a Friday, it's the weekend. We can all have fun right after this, right after we go through this casual chat, where today we're going to talk about augmented reality and how it's used in business. What is augmented reality? Augmented reality is the enhance using technology to enhance the physical world. So what you see in real life using AR, it can be further. Wait, hold on. It can be further enhanced. Now it's not the same as virtual reality
Mhm.
because virtual reality they're creating a whole a whole new virtual world.
All right, yeah, the virtual reality is the whole realm, right? When you go and when you use the goggles, the whole environment is all digitalized. That means, for example, you can go into space, you can go into a zoo, and you're basically just putting yourself in that kind of virtual environment versus augmented reality, where you use usually an app to see something within your physical world.
Exactly. So this is a simple example, Pokemon Go, or an even simpler example is when you use your Instagram filters, right? When you use your filters and there you're wearing a hat or your face is different, that's AR. So how is it used? It uses computer vision, mapping, localization, and depth tracking technology. Mapping is probably the most important part because mapping then it allows the image to be put at specific place. For example, the furniture you could see it at the corner, the glasses would go on your eyes instead of, on your head or on your lips. So unlike virtual reality, like we said, augmented adds to the existing world as it is. Now there is some debate going online whether virtual reality or AR is better. So in better, I think both serves its uses, but it's being said that augmented reality probably has more potential and use in the future, especially for businesses because it can be applied to the physical world.
Right, and it does help when when lockdowns happen and you cannot go to the physical store. So this is something where retailers can use for their business.
Yes, and even if you could go to the stores, they won't put everything out for you to try. For example, you can't try on the clothes. I mean, now you can, but certain shops
But
you
you,
can.
yeah,
You don't have makeup testers aren't there. I mean, I went to Sephora and all the fun is taken away because the testers aren't there. I mean, I don't put it directly on my face, because everyone's swabbing it and, it's really not clean, not hygiene at all. But then,
yeah.
you can't see the products out at all. And if you have AR, for example, like this one, as you can see on the screen, you could try out lipstick. So a lot of people has this. This is Amazon, Sephora has it, L'Oreal has it, some other independent, smaller makeup brands that I visited the website. They have it too. The simple ones I see a lot of people just integrating the app YouCam, if
Yes,
you've
you
heard of
can.
it.
I use UCam because my photos always look pale somehow. So my eyelashes are usually thicker when I use UCam.
Yes, and it's very useful. And AR in also in Zoom, people use the filters, right? They don't have time to put a makeup and you don't want to look so dead outside, even though you're alive on the inside. So you just want to match it. You just want to match the outside to the vibe. So this is an
Yep.
example how it's used in retail. One
Hmm.
example. Another example, glasses. This is Ray-Ban. As we talked just now, you could use clothes, furniture, what else? Anything really. Yeah,
Yeah, actually,
electronic.
IKEA is already using it, right? They have the app called Space, I think, and you can actually visualize how their furniture will look like in your own house, right?
So this is one tip. So all this info I got it from Max Friedman. from business.com. So
Mm-hmm.
just giving proper credit out there. Um, Online retailers. So if you don't have a physical shop, because when you use AR, you can use it in your shop. For example, you could put a tab there, and then people could try out the products there and then. But if you don't have a physical shop, then like the example just now, on your website, you could have on the website you could have your AR. You could let your customers who visit your website or your app try out the products that you have. So, for example, a water company, you can use AR they use AR for smart glasses and also through a tab, exactly like what you're seeing. So they can see platform using this platform, they could superimpose the markings and the messages and diagrams directly onto the engineer's field of view. So whatever that they're seeing, whatever machine that they're seeing, also they could directly superimpose the markings, and this would make it easier for them to fix it. Also to fix remotely, because you're sending your engineers down there, and probably the the person who is handling it cannot be there at that time, then they could guide you through AR.
Also
So this
used
is
in the medical industry, right? Meditech.
yes,
So,
yes.
like sometimes the doctors cannot go into a remote area, for example, in time, so they actually have a facility there to remotely see what's going on at the actual location.
So this is an example of how AR is used in design and modeling. So in design and modeling, for example, for homes and cars, when you want to design a car or you want to design homes, large scale things, instead of creating a large scale prototype, you could create a 3D mockup using AR, and you could see how it looks like side by side with the with the existing product. So for example, designers, whatever your prototype you want to do, you could create a mock-up using AR, and then you could see how it looks like without having to, spend the cost of buying physical material to create the thing.
Actually, in terms of this, because you're showing a sample of a car, there was one launch that I went to a few years back,
Uh-huh.
pre lockdown, right?
Uh-huh.
You can actually see different designs on a one car that is placed there, so you can actually choose funky
Customize it.
designs, or
You
yes,
mean like
so
change
you
the rim,
change the rim, change the paint color, change the design of the patterns on the
the
cars and all
spoiler?
that,
Uh-huh.
the spoiler. So it's kind of fun because you know you cannot do that on the spot, and it is more fun when you actually can go around the car and see how it's like on your future car before you make a purchase.
Yeah, on different angles, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, so I think showrooms already have this. You could use this too, so you could showcase your products better. So next is in training and education, like what Hanis mentioned just now. In the medical field, they use it, and also in training, also they use AR, so they wouldn't have to dissect a body all the time, even though that's a good method also, and it is being used. But then the body, the anatomy, they could learn more about it through AR. This is being heavily used. And also, Hanis, recently you shared a video on LinkedIn on how AR is used to stimulate
Educate.
floods. Yeah, to
Yes.
educate students, to educate kids on a natural disaster. So it
What to do in
stimulates.
an yeah.
Yeah, so it stimulates the real life of how a flood would be, how a flood would look like without putting the kids at risk.
In water. That would be fun. But yeah, to reduce the cost of actually creating a flood in the classroom, so
Yes.
AI works best. Yeah.
Yes, so it stimulates real life disaster, and it teaches the students or teaches the people how to react, find a safety exit, what to do, and it makes it look so real, because some of these things students or kids, they couldn't fathom it, or they don't understand it, they only see it in news, but then how's it how is it really like, right? And yes, medical students could use this so they could go deeper dive into the human body anatomy without cutting up people. Oh, hi, Elsa. Elsa joined us. But expensive,
Ah,
right? To use in marketing or
marketing.
education?
Actually,
Yes.
yeah, yes and no. It can also, I mean, it can reduce the cost of actually physically fabricating stuff, which will just stand there for don't know how long. But with AR, you can always, once you have the foundation right, you can always tweak it to add certain features and things like that, right? Um, and I think recently there was one of our friends, his name is Alan Yip. He mentioned that there are companies nowadays who are trying to make it as cost effective as possible. That means they only charge you when people view it or something like that.
Yes, expensive, but you can calculate it, see whether it's worth with whatever that you're already spending on either, for example, if it's education, whatever that you're already spending on training, the amount of trainers that you pay and the hours that you put in. Could this be reduced by paying this certain amount of money for this AR feature? So you can calculate the cost, calculate the risk, see whether it's worth your current business plan of expansion and such, whether it does save the cost. Because if it doesn't, then I would say don't do it too, because
Yeah,
that wouldn't be smart.
true. And I when it comes to macam since we're talking about industrial dulu kan,
Yes,
sometimes for construction if they cannot visualize how a whole area might look like before being built, so this will actually help you to see and visualize buildings in a smaller area. You don't
larger,
have to
yeah,
actually correct, it's kind of in a
in a
large
larger
scale
scale.
but in a virtual world, right? So you don't have to it's sometimes harder to imagine it when it's in the 3D format in your laptop, for example. But when you're using AR and you can actually see how it's going to look like, how high it's going to be, what is it going to block or not block, feng shui and whatnot. So I think it will actually save cost and time in that aspect.
Yes, exactly what you said. Interesting. Budget to implement, really worth it. Yes. Yeah, I have to calculate to make sure it's worth it. So in one other way the AR is used is in repair and maintenance. So in 2015, Hyundai is actually the first mainstream automaker to launch an AR owner's manual. So the people who bought Hyundai, they could check out the user manual using this AR. They could use a tablet or they could use their own smartphone, and they get to see how does it look like, all the info for maintenance, for repair, and in the app there's videos on how to fix simple things when you pan the camera onto certain parts of the vehicle, for example, like the engine bay, and then it will pop up like exactly like what you see on the screen. You could see the features of it, and this would further educate and help the users on how to fix their car by themselves. And this actually saves cost because you wouldn't have to go to the workshop all the time. Sometimes you have to, but then you could also find out by yourself, why is it broken, or what is this, and you could see more clearly without having to take out the engine parts. It's For me it's a bit intimidating for me to even just
Yeah.
open the hood, and look at everything. But then using this, then it makes it much easier, and this can also improve customer satisfaction because it reduces their downtime and their cost because they wouldn't have to, go send it first thing, okay, hantar to the workshop, right?
Hmm.
So these are the ways that AR is being used.
Cool.
And that's all that we have to share about AR. Are you using AR? If so, let us know. Are you thinking of using AR? At the moment, we're not using AR, right, Hannes? Because
No,
yeah, we're in
but I've
services.
yeah, we're in services, but I've seen a very cool use of it in a printing world, because sometimes some people are doing away with paper.
Yeah,
the traditional sense of paper. And there was one HP event that I went to a few years back as well in Singapore, and they demonstrated this Spanish company. They How they did it was they printed this code on cereal packets, and when the kids scan the code, the characters will come to life. So
Mm-hmm.
it makes it more fun. It's more like it's breakfast is no longer usual. So you can play with characters, and you can create augmented reality worlds for these toys that they also include in this cereal pack. So you don't like even Lego. I think they're also using it. So it's not just the normal Lego blocks anymore. You can actually create a whole playground of characters, and you can invite your friends to join this world together with you. So that's pretty
Yeah.
fun.
I tried it
Yeah.
with McDonald's because McDonald's came up with a book and it says scan for AR, and I have some AR books for my
Mm-hmm.
kid, and it's really fun. It really brings the story to life. There's this one Winnie the Pooh book, and then the Winnie the Pooh character talks and it's reading out the book. Yeah, really, really nice stuff. But yes, other than that, also, Hannes, you want to
Yes.
share about YouTube Live
Yes,
because
I do.
yes, as we talk about the latest updates in social commerce, live commerce, and e-commerce. So check out what YouTube is doing.
Okay. So Elsa has a question, but I'll come back to you, Elsa. So hang on.
Okay, I see. All right.
Yeah. So YouTube is making a push for live stream shopping. Live stream, you've been seeing it a lot on Facebook Live a lot. But YouTube is integrating it into their system for the holiday season. So what they have announced is actually a new series of live stream shopping events that can tap into the rise in shopping behavior leading into the holidays. So what they explain is that the holiday stream and shop will kick off on November 15th with 7 days of shoppable live streams. So fans can tune in to get new products, unlock limited time offers. We've always been saying that when you go live, you want something that will pull your audience in to attract them
Will
and come back and
entice
come
them,
back.
yeah.
Yes, so limited time products, limited edition products. And of course, when you're using new products, you have questions to ask. So this is the time where you can actually ask product questions through the Q&A live and talk to the creators directly. So that's pretty cool. And I think you already know that China is already booming in this. It's a 423,000 billion dollar market by the end of next year. So Facebook,
400
yeah.
billion.
Yes, so this is live. That's the value of live commerce, and Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube are now looking into it. Of course, they cannot miss out, right? FOMO. So if you're looking at how to do it for yourself, because yeah, it might not be available here. It might be just for the US market. But what we have for you, if you are in the Asia or Europe market, doesn't matter where you are. If you have your own e-commerce website and you're looking at how to integrate live shopping for your customers, do talk to us because we have that solution for you where people can talk to you rather than just scroll through thousands of pictures of your products, and then just going to the next website or your competitor looking for a price difference. This is where you can engage with your customers live in your e-commerce website, which is so cool. Of course, yes, you can do it on Facebook Live, right, Sarah? Like now we're talking to our audience live, it's fun. But what if this channel goes down, and Facebook now is talking about changing the name or something like that.
Yeah, I
So
know, right?
yeah, so yeah, this is, I don't know, it's something that you should try to consider. It's an investment that will work for you long term, right? So yeah, so are there any questions with regards to live commerce in your website? Do leave the comments below. But while we're waiting for any other questions with regards to that, then we'll come back to Elsa's question. How do you start to use AR for your company? So I think we have to ask you, Elsa, how do you think you want to integrate AR in your company? In what sense?
For your staff to improve training time? Is it for your customer? What areas are you looking to improve, or probably is a hassle to you, or an area that you see could be improved, or you've been wanting to change, or probably it's a what you call it, like a time suck, time suck, a time black hole where you spend a lot of time. Product. What are you selling? Education product.
Okay. So
Education
I
product.
education product. I understand, Elsa. You maybe you're talking about
Let me check it.
CSR stuff, is it? Or or what sense for education? You're educating your customers or you're educating your staff?
Heart no speaker.
I'm not
No, you,
using Facebook.
I understand. I wasn't on Facebook for some time also. I actually deleted my Facebook many years ago, and then I got back on it, and then I had to learn to use it all over again. So I understand. Okay. Um,
Um, I don't know.
from your
Looking,
Facebook, I cannot
yeah.
see what education products that you are selling.
Mm.
So, but if you're
But
talking about education product, if you're talking about books, then your books could use AR.
like introduce learning materials for Malaysia. Ah, so ne. Okay, so it's more like training, I suppose, right?
I guess
So
like courses, workshops, um, yeah, learning materials.
even
So online
even
materials.
books coming to life, maybe also. So like history books, rather than just read the text and photos like what we used to in the olden days, you can actually create AR for books. Yes, very interesting, Elsa. Interesting question because, I fall asleep all the time in class without without the teacher noticing. So it would actually make a difference if we could in our own time, because of course the teachers have to be paid for teaching, right? So we don't want to take their jobs away. But what can be done in terms of AR for history? You could have certain elements in the history books which brings videos to life, like in art museums, right, Sarah? We've seen that
Yeah. Yes,
when
yes,
we
yes.
scan with certain codes, then the art comes to life. So this can actually be integrated in history books and even in geography, where you
I
want
think
to
in
go
all
to,
subjects.
yeah, more interesting, right? You can go to a different location. You can go to Australia with just a scanning of a code, and you can see the animals there. You can see the landscapes and things like that. So Elsa, I think this kind of answers your questions. What you would need then would be to develop the application for this. You will need to work with the designers. That means they need to work with 3D. They need to work with video. Of course, I want to have AR. How to convince MOE? Good luck with that.
That one I cannot help you with. I'm not
But
MOE.
um, I think you could come up with a prototype. You might want to
Yeah.
work with a partner, an AR partner,
Mhm.
which there should be a lot out there who would want to go into that kind of field. And
Buddy already has it, right? Buddy publication that produces a
yeah.
lot of educational books.
Mm-hmm.
So Buddy already has it.
So
Probably
yeah, I think
could work with them. Maybe
publications.
instead of looking at schools, maybe you can look at working with publications, partnering probably with tuition centers or other more, because MOE is like nationwide, right? And anything that involves, nationwide would take much longer to be implemented, right?
Implemented.
Because of the protocol and such. So
Mm-hmm.
probably you should try with um, publications, tuition centers, or um, private schools, or certain schools itself. Maybe you could target just a specific age, for example. A specific age, for example, only preschool. So learning materials for preschool. I remember I've worked with Auntie Marlinda. I don't think she's watching this video, but Auntie Marlinda, which is my friend's mom, I've worked with her before as a designer doing um doing graphic designing, and I help her design educational materials, educational products, for example, books and boards that you stick on the wall, specifically for toddlers and preschools. And all her customers, all her customers are preschoolers, kindergartens, taska, tarika, and that's her market. So that is a smaller scale or a smaller niche than MOE itself, because MOE, it will probably take a bit longer. There's a lot of subjects, a lot of
Yeah,
levels to go through.
and I think with private sector, it's easier to convince them. They might have the budget to invest in this kind of thing. So private schools, maybe even international schools. Because like what Sarah said, when it comes to the ministry, they would want something that will back them up. They won't want to just invest in something where they don't see a track record, for example. So you might have to come up
Aha.
with a proposal even of how other countries are using it for their school syllabus, and show them how it's actually changing the education landscape. And you can actually convince them, because with the pandemic and all, some students, there a lot of students are stuck at home, and learning from textbooks can be quite dull when there's no interaction and all that. So this could be an element long term, how education is changing with the use of technology and AR. Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
Elsa,
that's
you say you have some potential partner that you want to propose AR. Great,
yeah.
great. Maybe, yeah, maybe not MOE yet, but maybe you can target, like we said, probably private sectors or a specific niche age only, for example, just preschool or a certain subject only. And then once you sell your product, then you have a track record, and then you have, how many years of the services that you've been doing, your products, how many hours has it been used? This can all be tracked. How many students have you helped? And from this track record, then probably you can scale up.
Yeah, I guess that's it for today, Sarah. If you have any further questions, you can always leave your questions below. You're most welcome, Naya. Thank you, Elsa, for joining us as well today. And whoever's going to watch this later on, thank you again for joining us. We do this every Wednesday and Friday. And do leave your comments, do leave your likes, do subscribe to us and follow us. It means a lot to us as we grow with you. And if you want to leave your own links, your own profile, your business profiles, you can do so in the comments below. Don't feel shy, because this is where you can, potentially get new business as well. Right. So I guess that's it, Sarah.
And that's it. Thank you, and we'll see you next week, Wednesday. Stay tuned and follow us on Facebook. Bye.
See you then.